The following is an encore presentation of stories from the Dooralong Transformation Centre. Corby was singing with you. With us at the moment is Kenny from the Dooralong Transformation Centre. We spoke to him very briefly before the 10 o'clock news, but now we've got time to unpack his story in more detail. So I'm going to say again, welcome and good morning to you, Kenny.
Good morning.
You've been at Dooralong, you were telling us, for 5 months. If it's okay with you, what we'll do is we'll look at your life a little bit before Dooralong and see how that sort of played out for you. You were telling me off that it's drugs that's the issue for you.
Yeah, drugs took a hold of my life.
Yeah. When did they appear in your life?
Since I was a young kid in high school, started off slow.
Yeah.
And graduated to heavier things.
Started off slow, like lots of teenagers, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But okay at that stage?
At that stage, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought I was in control.
Yeah. And all your friends and sort of contemporaries were doing the same thing, were they?
It just looked like It just looked like the thing to do.
Yeah. It's a sort of rite of passage into manhood.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were no sort of alarm bells thinking, oh, this is going to really ruin my life big time.
Had no idea.
Had no idea. If you had, it sounds a bit of a cliche, but you just wouldn't have started, would you?
Oh, definitely not.
You didn't know what life had in store for you.
No, it was a big, long road ahead of me.
Big, long and unpleasant road ahead of you.
Yeah.
So there you are, you're a teenager, you started, was it with soft drugs, marijuana, cannabis?
Started off with cannabis, ecstasy, and
Yeah.
then moved on to heavier after that.
Yeah. You were still at school when this was going on. You were able to conceal it from the teachers, from your mum and dad and your siblings.
I don't know how, but yeah, I did.
Yeah, they're so to begin with anyway, they had no idea.
No, definitely not.
No. How did it progress? Say now you're leaving school, you're looking for a job, is it still with you, this habit?
It was still with me, started about partying every weekend, football trips away.
Yeah.
Eventually it caught up to me. My father knew about it eventually, and then he tried to steer me the other way.
Yeah. You say there it was there at parties, it was there at footy trips. It's everywhere in our culture, but particularly around it surprises me a little bit that it's around sporting events, because you would have thought sports people wanted to keep peak fitness, and drugs would affect that.
Definitely. I was very fit, but I don't know, as soon as the weekend come, it was just about partying.
Yeah. And was that for the same for other people in the footy team? That the drugs was an issue for them?
Yeah, we were kind of the main thing, because we were the football team.
Yeah. You the cool guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's now really embedded as part of your life, isn't it?
Yeah, it turned my life upside down.
Yeah. But things took a turn for the worse about 5 years ago, didn't they? What did you do 5 years ago that made a life which was, spiraling a little bit out of control to a life that's really out of control?
I found ice.
Yeah. And look, I've never experienced ice, and I'm sure a lot of listeners haven't. What would you say to someone who's never sort of lived that life? What's the difference between sort of the cannabis that you've been taking for many years and ice? What does it do to you that's different?
Once it puts claws into you, it kind of takes everything away, changes your relationships with loved ones. You lose all your friends. You lose contact with actually who you are yourself.
So it's very destructive.
Destructive, very, very destructive.
So the marijuana, the cannabis, you can sort of keep that almost under control and at a certain level.
At a balance, yeah.
At a balance. But once you start the ice, and I like the way you put it, once it's got its claws into you, it never gives up.
That's it.
Yeah. So what did it do to your life?
It turned me into a person that I didn't know. Made me lose contact with everybody. I kind of isolated myself. I didn't want to know the world. I couldn't move forward and progress.
Yeah. You were keeping your initial drug taking, somehow you said you managed to keep it secret from mum and dad. They would have noticed the change when you went onto ice, would they?
Yeah, definitely.
Did they speak to you?
They didn't for a little bit, but then they started to try and help me. But no one can help you if you don't want to help yourself.
And you didn't want to help?
Not at the time, no.
So there must be some part of you that enjoys it.
I did enjoy it at one stage back then, yeah.
But then the negatives sort of outweigh all the positives.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. So what bad thing did it do in your life? You say it ruins relationships and all that sort of thing. What about work?
There was no work eventually. Didn't care about work. I had no income. I'd do anything just to get my hit.
Yeah. And this isn't like the normal Kenny who took pride in his work, because you've got a trade, haven't you?
Yeah, it's cement rendering.
Yeah. So now you just don't care about work?
Back none of
that time.
At that time, no.
No. Did you care about? Oh, it sounds really harsh, but did you care about mum, dad, and the family?
No, I didn't even care about myself. So I didn't care about others either.
The only thing that mattered was getting the money to get the hit.
Yeah.
It's a scary situation you're in. Did you realise how serious it was?
Not until after years of being on it.
Yeah. So what would your day look like? A normal day for Kenny when he was in ice addiction?
Look for what I'm going to get on next, and then probably isolate myself from the world.
So it's a pretty antisocial drug, isn't it? It's not one of... Some drugs are called party drugs because it's in a social setting and you're interacting with people. This one actually takes you out of any relationship.
Definitely.
And you're just on your own, shooting up.
Yeah.
And that's your life.
Yeah, for years.
You've got no job. Relationships are being stuffed around by the drug. And it's just you and the needle.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
At the time I thought I was, yes.
Yeah, but it was
slowly taking its toll and ruining my life.
Yeah. What about the physical side of your body? We see pictures sometimes in the paper of people as they were, and then people 6 months after ice, and it's a sort of before and after, and it can be very stark. Is that something you can relate to?
Most definitely. I come in the Dooralong weighing 74 kilos.
Wow.
And I weigh 95 now.
So yeah, so it does really eat away at your body.
Definitely.
Yeah. How did you find out about Dooralong then?
I did detox at William and Booth in Surrey Hills.
Yeah.
And then I found out about Dooralong and the setting, that it's a different setting to the city. So I got a transfer. How
come you were doing detox? Because I mean, there you were taking your ice, and it was, you thought you were okay, even though it sounds a pretty miserable existence. How come you're on a detox?
Because I got in trouble with the law, so it was time to turn my life around.
Yeah. So the detox was William Booth?
Yep.
And you could have stayed there to do the rehab, couldn't you?
Yes, but the setting in the city just didn't suit me, so...
Too noisy, too many distractions?
Just too many triggers.
Too many triggers. And what were the triggers for you?
The trigger was to go use again, or to go get on, or to give up on detox and just leave.
Yeah. And that was... scoring, I suppose, is quite easy in Sydney, isn't it, if you know the right people, know the right places?
Yeah.
So you decided it would be best out in the country somewhere, or somebody mentioned Dooralong to you?
Yeah, somebody mentioned Dooralong and how it is and the setting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in my head that sounded like it suited me a lot better.
Yeah. And it's closer to where your mum and dad are, because you come from the entrance, don't you?
I felt more home, yeah.
You felt more back on the coast, more at home. So you put your hand up for Dooralong rather than staying at William Booth. And after the detox, you go to Dooralong. We've spoken to many guys who tell us that it was a bit of a strange introduction to Dooralong. They just didn't know what to expect, and it came as a bit of a surprise to them. Was it a surprise to you?
I entered Dooralong on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And on the Wednesday chapel night.
Yeah.
When I first got there, I thought to myself, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, I can understand that, because if you've had no sort of exposure to sort of Christianity or to sort of worship in that style, you must have wondered.
Well, I didn't have God in my life at the time.
No. You were godless.
Yeah, I was powerless.
And hopeless.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're at Dooralong. You've made it through the first week. When did you start having hope that there might be a life after ice? There might be a life after addiction for me?
About after 2-3 months being at Dooralong.
Yeah.
And after doing classes, mindfulness and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I let go and let a higher power take over and take control of my life.
Then you thought there might be a better life out there.
Well, I started seeing the light at the tunnel.
That sounds great. Sounds very positive, and it sounds like an approach. We're coming up to 10 on this beautiful Wednesday morning. We're talking to Kenny from the Dooralong Transformation Centre, who 5 years ago took ice, and that's when his life also took a turn for the worse. Thankfully, he found William Booth's house in Sydney. He did a rehab there. He could have stayed, he did a detox there. He could have stayed there for his rehab, but he's heard about Dooralong and he's plumped for Dooralong instead, and that was 5 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and your life is starting to be turned around.
I'm starting to feel like the old me again.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to deal with things now, and I can see a brighter light at the end of the tunnel.
And you put weight on and you look healthy, because you were telling us that you were only 75k when you...
Yeah, definitely.
That was what ice does to your body.
Yeah, it strips you of everything.
Yeah. Is it like you imagined it would be as a rehab centre?
No, definitely not. We're a great community. The fellowships there is great. The community there itself, it helps you find yourself again.
Yeah. We've had people here say, and this isn't to downplay the work that the great sort of caseworkers do out there, and the psychologists and the counsellors, but they say, as helpful as all that is, it's also helpful just to share with other guys who've been on the same journey. Is that something you found as well?
It took me at least 3.5 months to open up and share how I was and how my life is.
Yeah.
But I was encouraged by my fellowship like my other participants.
Yeah.
Hearing their shares and being able to relate to their story, it's really changing.
Yeah. So there's that feeling of sort of mutual support from other people on the program as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then you get introduced to other programs. We won't go into these in detail, but you talked earlier about the mindfulness courses, and they run other courses that we've talked about in the past, like anger management and boundaries. Are these courses that you've sort of signed yourself up for and done?
Yeah, they helped me a lot along the way.
Yeah, that's terrific. Now then, let's get back to the spiritual side of things. You were telling us earlier that at that time of coming to Dooralong, and for the 5 years previous to that you were godless. God wasn't in your life. Is it since you've been at Dooralong that you've been awakened to the spiritual side of yourself?
It's definitely opened up and awakened my spirituality at Dooralong.
Yeah, yeah. In what way? Because you said to us, you arrived at Dooralong on a Wednesday, and you went to chapel night, and you wondered what the heck you got yourself involved with. So there's a bit of bewilderment and puzzlement, and also feeling that this is a bit of a cult. Whereas now you sound very positive about it. What's changed?
Once I let God into my life, other doors started opening up for me. I started seeing things positive, and I don't know, my life's just gotten better since I have.
Yeah. The way you explained it there, once you sort of opened your life to God, so it's not something you had to do other than just open the door and let God step through.
I just had to let him do his thing.
Yeah. So the change in mindset was, I'm just going to open this door. I can't do it on my own. I've stuffed up my life enough as it is. I'm going to open it up to God and let him have it.
You'll let him take control.
Let him take control. Are you still on the back row at chapel night?
No, definitely not.
You've moved closer to the front, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do Mum and Dad think of your progress?
They're proud of me. They're supportive. They couldn't have asked for anything better. They're just happy that I'm finally got help for myself.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I can also understand if they were a little bit anxious maybe as you come towards the end of the program, thinking, "Oh, Kenny's all right whilst he's at Dooralong, but is he going to be all right on the outside?"
Definitely, they definitely crosses their mind.
Yeah. Does it cross your mind?
Halfway through the program, mostly, but I'm more than positive and certain with myself that I'm strong enough and got the tools to move on with my life.
Yeah. And what sort of supports will you put in place? Because I know there's a proper, what do they call it? Is it the re-entry program? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what's the tell our listeners what the re-entry program looks like.
Well, I'll be on, if I stay after 6 months, I'll be in re-entry. Though I won't leave until I'm definitely got something like planned for when I get on the outside. I've got to continue and care plan going, so...
Yeah. So it's not just like walking out of the gate and saying, right, that's it, I'm fixed, I'm cured, back to the world. There's proper supports in place and making sure that things are going to be okay.
Yeah, set up certain props.
Yeah. What do you think of the Salvation Army?
Thank God for the Salvation Army.
That's what they say. You can say that with feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've changed your, well, God acting through them has changed your life.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Have you got any brothers or sisters?
I've got a young brother.
Having a young brother, because I can tell the listeners that you're not an old guy, you're a young guy yourself. Is it a worry that you see him at an age where he might be following the pathway that you took?
I think he watched and learned from my mistakes.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. He's nothing like how I used to be, so...
Yeah. So he's seen what it can do?
Yeah, definitely. I was always open and honest with him.
Yeah, yeah. So he knows that down this pathway lies misery.
Misery, lose everything that you got.
Lose everything that you've got, yeah. Will you be returned to concrete rendering? Because, I mean, that's a job that's always going to be in demand.
I probably will until I learn about more courses to go to TAFE and do community services.
Okay, so you're going to become go back to school again, study at college?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow. Did you ever think 5 months ago that, in 5, 6, 7 months' time, I'll be studying at college and trying to get qualifications in community services?
Most definitely not.
No. Huge turnaround for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, we're going to break for some more music, and Pats will come back and we'll talk about that sort of hope and those ideas of studying and community services as well. That's a long way from concrete rendering. Well, yes, go to Salvo stores. As they said, it's the profits go to fund courses like Dooralong that Kenny is from. Okay, Kenny, you'll be leaving relatively soon. Church. Will you continue to go to a Salvation Army church once you leave?
Most definitely.
Yeah. The same one that you're going to now, Long Jetty?
Yeah, shout out the Long Jetty service.
Yeah. What is it so special about Long Jetty? We've heard about it so many times. People come in and say, oh, it's great, we love it.
They've got a great worship team there.
Yeah.
Great service, and the people are just nice and friendly. There's no judgment. No
judgment, just accept you as you are and just love you as you are.
And they don't try and push religion onto you. No. You can just feel it yourself when you're in there.
Yeah, they live it rather than preach it, sort of thing, and they show it.
Most definitely.
With their attitude and their generosity of spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just before that break, we were talking about your studies. You say you hope to study community services at TAFE.
Yeah, I want to hopefully become a caseworker and help people along the way, help people along their journey like I've been helped with mine. Yeah.
So you've been that impressed and seen the difference that caseworkers can make in people's lives in turning them around, and you feel called to something similar.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
Yeah. So that involves, what is it, a Cert 3 or a Cert 4 or something like that?
Cert 3, community services, yeah.
And you have to do, well, don't have to, but that's available through TAFE?
Yeah.
And that's something that you're seriously considering, is it?
Yeah, most definitely. I want to try and change my life when I get out of here. I don't want to go back to the same old stuff, so...
Yeah. And then if you can live that life and help other people who've been on the journey that you've been on, that'd be terrific, wouldn't it?
Yeah, continue healing myself along the way.
Yeah, yeah. So, first time for a long time you're able to say that the future's looking quite bright.
Yeah, definitely.
When was the last time you were able to say that?
Not since I was a young boy.
No.
Before I knew what life was about.
Yeah. It's like rebirth or rebooting or whatever, but I mean it's like a new version of you, and you've got a new future, and a bright future with all the things and the supports that you've put in place.
Thanks to Dooralong, I do now.
Yeah. And your relationship with God, how would you describe that now? Because you didn't have a relationship with God, did you?
No, I didn't. I would have laughed in anyone's face if they tried to tell me.
Is that right?
But once I've seen it and I've felt it with my own self, like I've witnessed it myself. So,
in what way? What are the little sort of those aha moments that you've had where you thought, hang on, that must be God. That's just weird.
I've wished for things and little things, and then they actually happen. Or when I let go and let all control go over to Him Himself, it opened up everything in my life.
And that's happened on more than one occasion?
Yeah, numerous times.
Numerous times, that when you've got to the end of your own sort of ego, where you've tried to fix it for yourself, and you just thought, I'll give it over to God, and doors have been opened and things have changed.
Let Him take control.
Let Him take control. Yeah. What do Mum and Dad think about this new religious, that's got it comes with so much baggage, that word. What do they think about this new sort of spirit-filled son that they've got?
It probably, they make it,
they can't understand it?
Yeah, they don't get it. They just don't get it.
They're happy for where you are, but they think, I don't know how all this works.
Yeah.
I
have to convert them to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You without actually saying anything, you can preach, can't you? Because people will just look at you, and especially if you're in that field of community services where you get the opportunity to open up to people, and you can tell them about how life was before and how it is for you now, and the difference that God has made in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Look, Kenny, it's been a privilege to speak to you. I know you've got to go now very, very quickly. The kitchens are waiting for you because you're on kitchen duty.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a big night tonight. It's chapel night, as I think all our listeners know now. What's on the menu tonight?
Roast beef.
Roast beef. Does that mean those cows that were walking around in the paddocks last week? Because I know you do have those cows, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and we were just joking off air, asking, did you give them names? And they said, yes, we do. They're called Dinner. Dinner, Wednesday dinner. Yeah. So look, seriously, Kenny, it's been great to talk to you. You've got a really inspirational story. We just pray that you continue that relationship with God, and as you said, when you get to the end of your own trying to fix it, you just hand your life over to God, and as you said, things happen when you do. So pray that God will keep His hand on your shoulder and direct you down all the good, fulfilling, great pathways that He's got set out for you.
Thank you very much. Praise Dooralong and praise the Salvos.
Indeed. Can't add to that. Thanks, Kenny. Let's listen to... You've been listening to an encore presentation of the Dooralong stories, which can be heard live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and repeated 8 p.m. Sunday and 1 a.m. Wednesday, right here on 94.9 rema.cc.